I know. So. Pull up, straight? Oh, shit. All right, Shalom. I'm going to start by saying, call Allah, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakadash. Double honors to the powers of Israel, aka the powers of Great Millstone, and peace and love to all the Akim, continue to preach the truth and all truth and sincerity. All right, we're out here once again to prophesy the downfall of America, which is Babylon the Great, the daughter of Babylon, as the scriptures speak of. When you go into the book of Revelation and it talks about Babylon the Great being destroyed, Babylon is fallen, it's talking about the good old US of A, the United States of America, if you will. And basically what's going on right now, you got this dude Trump with the tariffs, you got all the shit going on with the war, the World War III, nuclear warheads, nuclear preps, nuclear programs, tensions, rising tensions within domestic, in America, domestic tensions happen throughout the whole earth. You got all these things happening that's showing we are in the last days of Esau's kingdom, because now Esau's kingdom is in clear disarray. And you got this guy Trump talking about when he got in office, he was talking about, oh, I'm gonna be the president of peace, I'm gonna bring peace. But what has he been doing since he's been in office, really? Aside from, he hasn't been causing no peace. You got to understand, yo, when he got in office and said he's bringing peace, he actually literally did the exact opposite. He's been fucking sending shit to the Middle East, sending shit to the Pacific. He's been sending a bunch of military things over to other parts of the world. And it's continuing on. I got this article real quick. I'm gonna have a brother read the scripture. So this is from the Fence blog, one of the military platforms. It says Pentagon sends new ship-killing missiles to Pacific hotspot. Now this is from April 18th, which I believe that was yesterday. I'm just reading a couple inserts. It says the United States is deploying its latest ship-killing missile system as part of a major military exercise with the Philippines near the South China Sea and Taiwan. Now, a couple weeks ago, like a few weeks ago, I believe it was the Philippines, Japan, and the United States that did a military drills together. And it's all in what? It's all in lieu of battling against China. Now, aside from all the war stuff, now who's America with having a trade war right now? China, Moab. And Moab is also another nation that the Lord said he's going to bring their pride down as well, because now their pride is getting puffed up. All the shit you see the president of China talking, the whatever, if that was the new foreign dude, what he's talking about, he's basically saying that, yo, China, we them guys too. All right? But basically what I'm saying is there's no peace. And since the devil's been in office, he's been bringing nothing but no peace. Well, you can read that real quick.
That's 5 and 3. But when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them.
And think about it, when he said that, and what did he do directly after? He started preparing for war. Oh, the nuclear facilities in Iran. Oh, we gotta start sending stuff over there to help the Asian allies. This has been going on since he's been in office. All of what's going on is leading to World War III, this nuclear war, and that's why they all getting ready. They just deployed like thousands of troops over there to the Middle East. So like that's Joel the 3rd chapter, hook, line, and sinker. Prepare war, assemble yourselves. That's what they're doing. That's what the whole world is doing. The dude from China said we can tariff war, trade war, technology war, military or real war, wherever you decide. The ball is in your trump court. The whole thing with Iran talk about they wanted to attack the nuclear facilities. Iran said, you know what, the ball is in your court. We're ready to attack U.S. bases. We got shit ready just in case you attack us. So now it's up to America now. So what is America going to do? They're leaving the ball in your court, so they're basically calling your bluff. And they said, when they shall say peace, I got you, brother. When they shall say peace and safety, he said, I'm going to be the president of peace. He says, I'm going to bring peace. But what has he really been doing to fit that mold? You want to say something, bro?
I don't know if y'all brought up, you saw, I read yesterday, had the parade there.
Oh, yeah.
Parade,
oh, and that shit, they said it was Russian and Chinese generals there. What? Oh, that's Ezekiel. What? 38. Read that again.
As travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. Verse 4. But ye brethren are not.
Oh no. That was it. You read that again. My bad.
First Thessalonians 5 and 3. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them.
Sudden destruction shall come upon them, and America has been getting destroyed day by day. Jobs, businesses closing. Yo, left and right, you see people losing their jobs. And since people are losing their jobs, people making less money, but now they're charging more money for stuff that you need. We just talked about earlier, raising property taxes in this state and other states. I just seen something on one of them wealth platforms on social media. They said that not one state in America can a 9 to 5 pay for a 2-bedroom apartment. That's why you have everybody shacking up with each other, or you have to make a nice amount of money to sustain a crib. People aren't buying homes anymore.
That's another reason why people are also staying in relationships.
Yeah. Words.
You have a lot of people that are, they're not even in relationships, but they're staying in the household because I know two people personally that they broke up, but they still staying in the same house because they can't afford to leave to get another place.
That's like a time that's never been. You would have never dreamed it would be like that in America, like 60, 70 years ago. They said, yo, remember they made a joke about Al Bundy? They said he had all that off a shoe salesman salary. Now, granted, that show was like the 80s, maybe into the 90s, but it just goes to show the temple of the value of the dollar or lack thereof and where we at right now. Because remember, this is only going to get worse. They're talking about all this financial collapse and they're talking about World War III. So it's not just, oh, well, we got to worry about China. You got to worry about China. You got to worry about Iran. You got to worry about your own economy. And it's all intertwined. The terror shit is all in league with these other countries. And remember, was it true that said they said that the war started through trade wars?
Mm-hmm.
This is the actual trade war between Esau and Moab. And this is going to cause America to be digging down more into a ditch. You want to say something?
You know, it's inhumane to have a job and you can't afford a place to live. Like that's a necessity. Everybody needs a place to live. Everybody needs a roof over their head. You know, I've heard people say, "Oh, this nigga work at McDonald's, whatever." That's not a career job or whatever. This, that, and the third. And you know what I mean? You get paid what you get paid. Like you know what I mean? You're not gonna get paid what some. You know what I mean? You shouldn't get what somebody that's a fucking engineer or something like that might have, whatever. Like you know what I mean? Like you know, you should at least have something. You have some place to live. You should be some type. They should subsidize it. Like you know, whatever you make, you just pay the difference of that. Like why I have a job and I got a roommate with somebody, or I gotta be fucking homeless or something like that? Don't make any sense.
Yep.
But this place is built off of capitalism. This is all capitalism. Everybody just trying to make money. Overcharging people and shit, just everything. Everything's expensive. Now with the tariffs, everything's they're raising the tariffs and taxes and shit like that. So it's going to be making it harder for people to live. And then it's going to get to the point where it's just going to be all chaos out here. It's going to be Jacob's trouble. It's just going to be out here, people out here fighting, killing one another, robbing one another. Right. That's what's coming.
We're second entries what? Was that 15 or 16? We're talking about the run to each other's cribs and whatnot. The tribulation that's going to come. Matter of fact, when you think about it, it's the financial tribulation is already here. Soon enough, the financial tribulation is going to turn into like, yo, it's going to turn into the tribulation of like, all right, we don't got the money for this shit. Now we got to go out and get this shit. And they actually said that homelessness is actually spiked up heavy in America.
And they're trying to criminalize homelessness too.
Yep.
So they're making people homeless, and then they're going to criminalize them for being homeless.
You know what that is implying? That's implying that that's how they're going to that's how they're going to bring in a new system, right? They're going to be like, yo, all right, you want a place to live, now you just got to get this inserted in you. Because they bringing them, what's it, all like 15-minute cities, smart cities? Because all right, you can't kill everybody. Everybody's not going to die. So with the people that survive, they say you have to be in league with his system. All right, but can you read that real quick?
The Quran and Seas?
Yeah, but in the NLT, we're talking about the door to life's opportunity. Right, verse 4. Yeah.
Ecclesiastes 12:4 in the NLT. Remember him before the door to life's opportunity is closed and the sound of work fades.
Hey, that's what's happening right now in America, man. Life, the door to life's opportunities fade, man. Nope. All right, so if you have it like this, right? If jobs are closing, right? They're closing grocery stores. I believe, yo. I was in Somerset yesterday. I used to live by the Stop and Shop on 27. That shit closed. I didn't know that was going. The one on another one in Edison on M&N, that shit closed too. So Stop and Shop is about to be out of here. That's not just jobs, but that's groceries, that's food. People always gonna need food and the shit like that. So why are you getting rid of all these stores? Because why? The shit getting too expensive. And now they saying that China is gonna be stopped accepting beef from America. I believe they said some shit like that. That's another shot to your economy. So that's why the Lord said, "Well, Babylon is falling. It is falling, man." What?
Now
you get that real quick? Unless you got something.
Now you rise at the first chirping of the birds, but then all their sounds will grow faint.
Yes, yo, that's going to like, yo, this shit is a wrap. And I think in that verse, a verse up, you ain't got to get it, but when it says the keepers of the house shall tremble, yo, you got all these economics niggas. They talking about, yo, man, what they said, second quarter? In the second quarter? Yep. But they the Jamie Dimon, no, not I think with Jamie Dimon, I think it was Elon Musk and a couple other guys. They was like, yo, we're basically, it's going to be another recession.
Yeah, some guy, Ray Dalio, he said he looking at this, it's going to be something worse than a recession.
Depression. They said they don't want to use, they said they don't want to say depression. They don't say recession, like it caps off at that.
But that's his words being smoother than butter.
Right.
Because really, if you are a prudent king, you would prepare your people, and if you really cared about your people, you would prepare them for the times to come, right? You would get them their mindset, proper about, okay, what's, what we see coming, how we should, better position ourselves so that we can make this through as a nation. But yet, what is Esau doing? He's telling the people lies by telling them, oh yeah, you're going to have so much money, you're not going to be able to know what to do with it. I'm going to bring a whole bunch of peace. So he's literally continuously feeding this wine to the people, and the scripture says, "Woe unto you that put the wine, to the mouth and cause them to drink it to see their nakedness." Because what he's doing to the people is making them drunk to the point that they're not aware of their surroundings. Right? You're not aware of your surroundings, and it's like you with you got a friend, your friend drunk. And instead of being, a good friend, you're like, yo, you're supposed to hold him up, walk this way. You just let this nigga go up in the middle of the street and into traffic.
Yeah, by car or some shit.
And that's what the elites ultimately want, right? They want the chaos, right? Because that's how they operate, order out of chaos, man. And remember, back a couple of years ago, you had the World Bank Summit, along with the WEF, these non-governmental organizations, talk about how they want a financial shock. They want to financially shock the system. And how do you do that? Well, you seeing it playing out right now. You got it.
Hey man, I'm about to say the financial shit. Man, it's escaped my mind. But you saying about the these guys, because you said they're not preparing the people right. But what they're doing is they're taking their money out the stock market. They're getting themselves some bunkers. They're getting themselves ready. You see what I'm saying? But here it is. That's in America, but you got in the EU or Europe, they told their citizens like, yo, do this, prepare this, prepare for some, I think they said, prepare for just in case some kind of like World War III like scenario.
And you know why they're doing that? Because over there in Germany, the majority of the population is what? German. Right. Over there in Sweden, the majority of the population is Sweden, so it's their people. Yeah. Over here in Babylon, it's a mixed multitude of people. So they don't give a fuck, and they know that, the Edomites in Babylon, they have the best, they're in the best position to weather this storm. It's everybody else that is going to be really in a terrible position, and the ones at the bottom is who? Jacob. So when the scripture talks about Jacob's trouble, it's going to come upon all of, specifically here in Babylon, but I always liken it into like a human pyramid. back in the school where we used to play the human pyramid, you have the people at the bottom and everybody at the top. And then when the shit collapses, everybody falls on the people at the bottom. They feel it the worst. Everybody falls, but the people at the bottom, they're the ones that feel it the worst. And that's who Israel. We was talking about, coming into the urbanized cities. You got too many people and not enough resources. When you go to places like the cities that we're in right now, there's not enough resources for all of the amount of people that are here. Right. So when shit hits the fan, when things get more expensive or things get, you get less product coming into the cities, what is going to happen? People are going to become savages, man. And as he said in the 2 Ezra 15 chapter, they're not going to have any pity upon their neighbor. Because it's going to be a dog-eat-dog world.
Actually, somebody get that. Because, hey, like the brother said, that's the time we're coming in, and this is what these elites want. And as far as the Edomites, they can get ready, right? They can get ready, but at the end of the day, the Lord is getting you ready for Him to judge you personally. That's what you fail to realize. See, you can get ready for the doom, and that's what you see. Most of these doomsday preppers usually do be Edomites, for the most part, especially in America. You don't see a bunch of fucking Elamites, East Indians get doomsday prepping in America. Because they all drunk it, but these Edomites know that this shit is over soon. These Edomites know that shit is up. They might not admit it wholeheartedly that America's gonna be destroyed, but they know that the place they once knew is a wrap. Because you had that's why you had the Trump's whole thing was what? Deporting everybody, getting rid of the fucking illegals, so-called illegals, man. But he's the most illegal motherfucker that's on this land. All you and all the Edomites and these other heathens, man. This Jake was here first. So if you want to talk about who should be here legally, it is Jake. It is those northern tribes. It is those so-called Latinos. They was here first. They tilled this land, and then you came over and robbed and murdered them. And that's why the Lord gonna get you personally. That's why the Lord is allowing you to make it out of this. That's why the Lord is allowing you devils to get. Now, matter of fact, can somebody real quick get James, the 5th chapter? And start from the top, because
precept the fact that I want to get into.
Okay, come. You got it.
James 5:1. Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you.
And I think that country, I don't know if it was Sweden or Norway. They was actually telling people to get preparing bunkers.
Sweden.
That was Sweden?
Yeah. They were renovating their World War II bunkers,
right?
Basically modernizing them, and so that they could be basically prepared for in the case of a nuclear war, and they'll be able to house, I think they said, up to 7 million people. So and that goes into the fact that only America, Babylon the Great, is going to be utterly destroyed. Because these other nations, they're going to be amongst World War III. Their nations are going to be put in a disaster. But not everybody in these nations are going to be destroyed, because those are the people that are going to be a part of that first generation of slaves when Yahweh Shah returns to set up the kingdom of Israel.
Yeah, and I think with the lieu of that tension started with the EU telling their citizens once, and now you have it actually sparking up some more. NATO going to war against Russia. You have that being talked about more again. Because the whole thing was, I think the whole thing with Ukraine still and whatnot. Because I believe one of the NATO countries, Lithuania, I think it is called, Lithuania, you had Germany just deploy, I forget the thousands, but they deployed thousands of troops over there. And they said that was Germany's first deployment, either period or of that magnitude since World War II. So don't tell us that, they're not preparing for war, because if Germany last did that in World War II, what world war are we in now? And why are they doing that now? But Germany they don't be deploying soldiers. So that's going to show what time we're in, what climate, and what temperature we're really in. Continue, James.
James 5:2. Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and silver is canker, and the rest of them shall be a witness against you.
See, be a witness against you. See, they remember the whole that meeting with was it Trump and it was two other guys, and it was like, yeah, he made $900 million yesterday. Yeah, he did this yesterday. He made this. Because you still have these billionaires, they're still coming up on top, and even in these times right now, they're still making money. It's the Jakes, it's the regular, the small people, if you will, the undesirable that's getting fucked.
Yeah, because they were saying about with the vitality of the market, a lot of people, 401k, a lot of people was losing like 40,000. I think Ashiyar said that he knows somebody that said that they lost like 140,000.
Damn. I don't know this one, but I read something where this woman, she wasn't talking about herself, but she was talking about her parents. Her parents' 401k was affected, and they lost like I want to say she said like I want to say she like between 12 and 20,000. But she also said that they were saving for a minute, so like it wasn't that much, but it was like she was like, yo, you might want to take that shit out because that was a few weeks ago. So who knows what transpired? Remember, when people understand it, that 401k shit, that's put in the stock market. That's all the shit that they talk about that might collapse, might be some issues. The people's retirements, people's pensions. You got think about it. A company, you had well, I just worked with this dude, this Edomite. He was this when I was working at the car auction spot. He was like, his company had a pension, but they up and closed and left, so he didn't get his pension. Like, imagine that. Imagine you're working somewhere for like 10 plus, yo, you expect to close, and then you can't get shit. All that's down the drain. And you can't get that 401k money back. Remember, it's all in a fucking fake ass system anyway. It's not like you just get the cash and like, yo, I lost this. Could you recoup me?
And remember, most people don't got a 401k. They said that 70% of Americans don't even have $1,000 in their savings account. So we're only talking about a small number of Americans that really even have something to save up. Whereas most Americans are living literally paycheck to paycheck. That they're just barely, making ends meet. So when these things exacerbate to a point where we're talking about the people that were saving is struggling, how much more of the people that don't even got money to save? But that's why the scripture says, and I got a quick scripture, it says, the book 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 17, charge them that are rich in this world, that they be not high-minded, nor trust in uncertain riches, but in the living power who giveth us richly all things to enjoy.
If I may, that would cut the whole John 3:16 thing, because it said key word, this world. Just like what and Edris has said this world fadeth away. Because this world we in, this is Esau's world, this is Esau's kingdom. And it said the riches in this world, you read that again?
It says, charge them that are rich in this world, that they be not high-minded.
But hold up, what the fuck is Esau Edom? The most high-minded of them all. The Lord said the proud and haughty, the proud, lofty looks. That's these devils over there.
Now I was gonna say, hey, this is even speaking more so towards Israel, because the Lord, Paul was telling Timothy to tell the Israelites, the church, because you got brothers that make decent money, right? No, brothers ain't rich, but you got certain brothers got different levels of financial stability. But Paul, and that happened even back then. So Paul was telling Timothy to tell him, look, those that got wealth, that got some financial stability in this world, charge them, don't be high-minded. Because that's the society, like that brother was saying, that's the society that Esau pushes. That, oh, you make money, then you're going to be good, you're going to be stable, you're going to be, successful. But Wisdom of Solomon tells us, not Wisdom of Solomon, Solomon's wisdom in Ecclesiastes tells us that riches, money is a defense. And wisdom is the defense, but wisdom, the excellency of wisdom, that it gives you life. Riches don't give you life. And especially in this society, more money, more problems.
Takes your life. Takes your life. Hey man, it's funny you mentioned Solomon. What else does Solomon say? Now Solomon had all of what a man's desire would be, you know what I'm saying? And he said, it's all vanity and vexation of spirit, which causes him more money, more problems. This, like, having the more money you have, especially like if your money is known to the public, it's more problems for you.
It's a debt-based system. So the more money you have, the more debt you have, because the more money you have, that means you're gonna have a nicer car, which is gonna cost more money, right? You're gonna have a nicer house, which your rent is gonna be more expensive. You're gonna have more bills, and as you just said, even like with guys now, like Richard Sherman, Joe Burrow, these people are now targeting these the people that got more money. They're not going after the little people no more, trying to rob somebody for fucking $50. That ain't gonna get you nowhere. They trying to go after the big score.
Oh, it's like the whole class thing is being that middle. Mary said the middle class is getting phased out. So now you have more like you consider Richard Sherman, he'd be like upper class, in a sense, basically.
He'd be rich in this world.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And then there's the lower class. You want to say something, bro? No. I just had your hand up. Yeah, so like, see, he said charge them. And definitely talk about Israel. And what are our people that are rich in this world? high-minded as hell. And if you tell them like, yo, you look at their music, listen to their music. Yo, matter of fact, when a celebrity is like a called out on something, like for instance, I remember this nigga's a goofball, but y'all know the nigga Funny Marco?
Yeah.
Funny Marco was talking to Shannon Sharp, and he told him how he looked like that Miss Netta's
Yeah.
So remember what Shannon Sharp said? Them checks still coming in. That's what they always resort to. They always gonna resort to, well, I'm still getting money though. But your money still makes you look like this woman.
And it says what? Not to trust in uncertain riches.
Right? So these riches are being proven to be uncertain. 401k. Even though it's not riches per se, but I mean, yo, that's a nice little, you said how much somebody lost?
140K.
That's a fucking yearly salary. That's a very good yearly salary. So imagine somebody just lost a year's worth of their work, their salary. And when one computer stroke or whatever the fucking, the stock shit. They were talking about the stocks. I haven't been up on it lately, but they said that the last couple of weeks, like when the tariffs was first talked about, that the stocks that the shit plummeted. And on top of that, you still got a whole war brewing around you. That's what people don't. It's not just these terrorists. This war been brewing for this whole thing with Russia and Ukraine. That's been going on for 3 years. The whole thing happened with the small hats and the fucking Palestinians. That's been going on for what? 2 years about to be in October. And now you got heavy problems with China. The second, or I don't know if they. Who's first and second, but I know it's America and China, the two top economies.
Yeah, America's still first.
It's still first. You know what I mean?
But China's economy is growing faster than America's economy.
And I want to say that China's production is way more than America.
Yeah.
Like the actual production of goods. Because they saying that China was saying that, we'll take it even a step further and stop all trade between America and China. How long do you think America can last off of that? Because if China is saying we're willing to do that, that means that they feel they have a nice nest egg to where we could lose you as a complete a business partner. Yep. And that's basically what the Lord cutting off America. Because if you're cutting off America from the other top guys, the top guys should be doing business, so they can stay on. So they're like, all right, so it has to be just one guy then. And America's saying that's gonna be us, and China's saying it's gonna be us. We not your little niggas. But go ahead, continue that.
Verse 3,
corrupted riches.
James 5:3. Start back at the top. Your gold and silver is canker, and the rest of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Ye have heaped treasure together for the last days.
And that goes into what the brother was saying about talking to our people first. But all these people, like this the rich world of people, like these people. Remember, they said they don't trust in them, and don't be high-minded. Don't let your money define you. What Diamond tell Ebony? Make the money. Don't let it make you. So when you make this money, remember, it's uncertain. You could lose it. Remember, the Lord said, I can give it and take it away like that. Just like these billionaires. I mean, I know it probably ain't hurt them too much, but they said that through all this terror shit that these billionaires lost hella money. I think Elon Musk lost some billions. And a couple other motherfuckers. Now, granted, they'd be good, but I'm saying, like, how it keeps going. Now they sending bitches up to the space.
Boy, a lot of people was already saying that shit was
fake, right? Yeah, I was saying that shit. But hypothetically speaking, if it was real, that goes to show how Esau's playing a part of the prophecy is searching out the heavens. Because what they go up there for?
Well, the actual,
I know it's like Bezos, right?
Yeah, but when you look at the symbol that was on the shuttle shit, it was Baphomet. So yeah, it was like a Katy Perry all up in that that witchcraft shit. So really, that shit was all just a ritual that was right in front of people, man.
And I'm glad you mentioned Katy Perry because here's the thing. You heard what she said?
No, what she said?
She was like, it was like basically talk about the experience that was so great and like, motherfucker, basically people should like do it and like some whatever, right? But I remember when you got back, they said you kissed the ground 5 times. So you couldn't have been that comfortable up there, and you really think about it, she kissed the ground 5 times on back. Because when you think about it, what you trying to do up there? You didn't with the earth, you didn't saturate, you didn't fuck the earth up enough. Now you want to go out in the galaxies and the heavens and do that and fuck that shit up? No, the Lord's not gonna allow you that. Your domain was on the earth. The Lord said the fatness of the earth. That's all you get, boy. Yahushua gets the earth and up beyond. What?
I'm gonna read verse 3 again in the NLT.
Go.
Your gold and silver have become worthless. The very wealth you were counting on will eat away your flesh like fire.
Oh, that's how bad. The very wealth we were counting on. Ain't these devils and these dumbass jakes, they depending on their wealth. When you think about a jake, what do our people be saying? They be like, yo, I just want to like get, I want to get this money, like get financial stability, which is fine. But don't think that's not gonna save you from this destruction that's coming to America. They don't think about the destruction coming to America. They don't think America's gonna be destroyed.
I was gonna say, just thinking about the whole shit going into space. There was all women and it was 6 women. And
Yep.
you was talking about how she kissed the ground 5 times. So it's all symbolism, right? With Esau using numerology and all that shit, man.
It was 6 women? What was
6.
5?
They said, I just googled it. It said
Oh.
6 women.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
And they were all like some kind of like, they weren't space
They
people.
said
They was like, they
yeah,
was
all
like,
celebrities.
yeah, all celebrities. You want to talk about?
Oh yeah, nah, because I was watching the video, and the rocket thing they went up in was a phallus. It was supposed to be representative of phallus. Then when it came down, it was representative of the woman's uterus, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
So and then when they was interviewing her, she was like, I feel more empowered, the feminine energy. So they were saying that was like a whole ritual shit.
It wasn't one of the chicks, the bitch that be with Oprah?
Yeah.
Yeah, Gayle King. Her best friend. Oprah's best
Yeah.
friend.
And it's funny because also
Best friend.
yeah, on some funny shit. So I seen on social media somebody said, they went up and flew in a big dildo.
Yeah.
But
That's what he's saying, yeah.
I mean,
it was like all, like I said, it was all a ritual.
yeah,
man.
it's all long. It's for optics. But don't get it twisted though. These devils is trying to go up there, but maybe that shit could have been like a little to fuck with the people. But like for face value, let's say they did go up there. This shit accomplished nothing. They came back and what? What did these bitches talk about what happened up there? They see what they saw? I mean, I know they didn't go up there that long, but like, you know what I'm saying? I seen the fucking egghead Jeff Bezos come back, fucking welcoming them and shit. It's like bullshit, bro.
But the thing is, a lot of people, that's where it goes to show you that their enchantments are not working as much, man. Because
Yeah.
immediately, people are just calling shit out, saying, "Oh, you see, that's how that's not fake." That's because the way he opened it, they said that shit was supposed to be sealed tight from the
Right,
inside.
I've seen that shit.
But then that shit opened, just mad smooth. The whole shit didn't even look like, because if you're going in the atmosphere, when you drop down, this shit's supposed to be like, fire and shit. It's supposed to be a little burnt. That shit looked, unscathed.
Well, you went up in the firmament type shit.
Yeah, so this shit was unscathed. So it just goes to show once again that your enchantments aren't working, man.
Right.
And it really that goes because of the truth. The scripture says that the truth that has been so long with our fruit shall be declared. Your deceit is quenched. So what are you gonna have to do now?
Word.
That's why he coming out just saying shit a lot more, putting it out a lot more, like out in the open.
Yeah.
Because you can't hide behind your witchcraft anymore.
It's like once something nigga exposed, it's like it's like you're relieved that you can be completely wicked, and because nobody, the citizens can't do nothing. Like you can have civil unrest, but at the end of the day, no citizen group or there's gonna be no citizen military, there's gonna be no citizen army. I don't give a fuck about all them Second Amendment Edomites. They're not gonna come against the government and defeat them. The only person that's gonna come and take Esau out is gonna be Yahushua. That's who's coming back to take these devils out.
That was the emblem or whatever. So you can see the Baphomet.
What a coinky dink.
You had a dude that said, like, I don't even believe in this shit, and it's evident.
You have a lot of people saying comments like that, saying like, "Yo, man, I'm not even a most religious dude, but like, things that in the Bible, that was written in the Bible, is happening now, and it's undeniable." And that goes into the Lord said, "I'm gonna pour my spirit upon all flesh," because now people want the explanation. What gives the explanation? The truth.
And remember, the Baphomet, that's in the charge of this demon,
Yep.
right? That whole fucking hermaphroditic spirit, whatever. And then you just had, which is tomorrow, Ishtar, right?
Yeah.
The so-called Easter,
Yep.
which is Ishtar is a fertility goddess, fertility pagan goddess, which is the worship of the woman's, private area. So this place is just saturated with witchcraft of the ancient times, man.
Word, because it's funny. I was talking to a lady, right? I was like, "Yo, all right, so where's the scripture? So I need to know the scripture where in the Bible it said that to go search for a bunny that don't lay eggs to search for eggs." And now the Lord's so bad, the Lord he made eggs so expensive right in time for Easter. So now you got some group talking about, "Yo, we're gonna have like other things that's gonna be hunted instead of eggs." Because a dozen of eggs is type expensive. So if you got an Easter egg hunt with a lot of kids, Yeah, that's the one we want. You want to have a few dozen. You want to say what?
I was gonna say, and the funny thing is now, you know, most people like around our age and younger, they understand and know that Easter has nothing to do with the Lord, but they're so far deep into it. It's like fuck it, like we're just, you know, it's for the kids. It's for the kids. You know what I'm saying?
It's for the kids. Like, yo, so yeah, we was fucked up. We was lied to, and they just gonna keep lying to them. Keep the cycle going, huh? Well, at least you're consistent. See, our people are consistent with wickedness. But what the scripture says what? When it comes to do wickedness, our people are good at it, but it said when it comes to righteousness, our people like basically not. They're wise and they're wise to do evil. Because they look at it like, yo, I'm not hurting nobody by doing this Easter egg, but you're worshiping an idol. That's the first thing the Lord said not to do.
Right.
That's commandment numero uno. Putting all the God before me, having all the God before me. So when you doing this, you're basically you're going against the Lord. So that is evil and that is harmful. That is troublesome. That is going to be a detriment to your life. And remember, the Lord said He's long suffering, so He's been letting niggas do this shit for how long? But now the Lord said I'm gonna make eggs expensive. And now, who knows what else? Who knows what else is happening right now as we speak? They had that meeting with Iran and America. That shit probably didn't go as well. They talked about it was productive. But yet y'all gonna have another meeting this week, so you didn't decide nothing this week? If everybody wants peace and y'all should be meeting every day. Once a week, on Saturdays, when nobody's paying attention. But give me something.
That's what I do.
Okay, come on.
Continuing on in NLT, the treasure you have accumulated will stand as evidence against you on the day of judgment.
Oh, and that's what we're approaching right now. So the treasure you've accumulated, it said what?
Will stand as evidence against you on the day of judgment.
Will stand as evidence against you on the day of judgment. What day are we approaching of the Lord's judgment? The day of the Lord's indignation. That's what's approaching right now, man. Every day that passes, we're getting closer to that very day. And that's why, you people, when you want to get rich, you want to, money. That's what money. For the love of money is the root of all evil. So you have the most vile basis of men, and what are they pushing the most? Money. But people think like, but you need money to survive. Yes, of course, money and wisdom is a defense. But what about the wisdom? Because the Lord said, riches profit not in the day of wrath, but wisdom shall. Wisdom is going to be the knowledge, stability of thy times, not your money. The Lord said you're going to lose your money.
Hey, so that's the God.
That's the God.
That's the God right now. That's where everybody has their faith in. Remember, the Lord said that everything that can be shaken and moved will be removed. So the Lord is setting up the scenario to where everybody's God is going to be put to the test. Yep. And what Esau has set up as a God is himself, right, and his money. Because what does he put on the face of his money? What does he put on money? His face. So when you trust in the dollar bill, the almighty dollar, you look at the dollar, it's an Edomite on that dollar. George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Andrew Jackson. And remember, all of these guys, right, they were slave owners. They were all against, they were all for the oppression of you Israelites. So when you looking at your FRNs and you trusting in that to save you from, certain calamities, that's where the Lord said, okay, well, we're going to see just how powerful your gods are. And that's why, as it says, righteousness is going to deliver you from death, because we trust in the living power, man. We trust in the one and only true living God. I had a quick precept just to back up that. Habakkuk chapter 2, this is in the GMT. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 9. You are doomed. You have made your family rich with what you took by violence, and have tried to make your home safe from harm and danger.
Hey, who'd you first take out with violence, man? Who did the Lord care about who you took about with violence? Jerusalem, Israel, part of my land. Violence. Hey, we talk about when we came over here. It wasn't rich like that, but like when we came over here, violence.
Well, you had the northern tribes that had the riches. Puerto Rico, Costa Rica, right? All of that. The America was also. When you go into the Book of Kings with Solomon, with Hiram, America was known as the land of Ophir, which Ophir is a precious gold, man. It's the finest of gold.
Take that journey.
Yep. What was it? During the 1949, you had the gold rush, which is where you get the 49ers from, where you had different countries, mainly Moab, but you had a lot of Americans also that came from the East Coast, and they migrated to the West Coast because they found gold over there. So you had a bunch of Americans migrating to the West Coast to mine the gold that was over there in the West Coast. You had Mount Rushmore. America signed a treaty with the Native Americans because they were saying that was a high point. You know, the Native Americans was off, into idolatry, but they were saying that was a high point for them to do rituals. So there was a treaty that America government made with the Native Americans to where that land over there would be sacred, and they won't ever take that land from the Native Americans. But then they found out in those mountains there were gold in those mountains. So American basically used the military. First they had missionaries, mercenaries, but then they used the military to basically take that land over and take the gold from the land. And then they basically not painted, but they carved what they call it, the founding fathers of Mount Rushmore onto that land, man.
Yeah, and you still got to pay for that. That's an unrighteous decree, fucking lies, robbery. What is that Ecclesiasticus where it talks about the popular one, Richard got about deceit?
Ecclesiasticus. Exactly, I was gonna get that too.
Because if they told the natives, oh shit, actually when I was a while, if they told the natives, you'll be good from us taking this land, but then you find out there's a resource over there. You know how Esau is. When he said he taketh, he taketh like basically like tell us nothing else to take.
Going up, it says in verse 8 in Habakkuk 2, it says, "You have plundered many people and many nations, but now those who have survived will plunder you because of the murders you have committed, because of the violence against the people of the world in its cities."
So when you take first and foremost the Lord shows the people, the Israelites, you did to them in their lands and the land they were in, and then take off. They talk about the whole thing after 9/11. Was that Afghanistan? Because they said that was for the oil.
Yep. The poppy seeds.
That's why they went to Vietnam. It was all about resources. That's what they in there for the Ukraine. That's why they interested with Ukraine. Yep. The whole Taiwan.
Yep.
The
sea hips. Rare earth minerals.
And matter of fact, that was another thing too. They said with that deal, they said Ukraine. I think Trump was in office by this time. Yeah, I think the Trump administration said that Ukraine, if they wanted, it was basically they had to give away like 50% of their rare minerals and shit like that. But Ukraine was like, nah, or either America or Russia. But basically, that's what that's about. That's not just because America loves the Ukrainians so much. Yeah, they're Edomites, but it's not about just them being Edomites. It's about the land and their resources. And that's what Esau do. See, he plunders. Here it is. We could all be humans and all live off these resources like how they did in the Black Panther. But what did Esau do in the Black Panther? Trying to take the vibranium. He's a he's a waster and destroyer. And he don't take it and use it for good. He takes it and use it. Oh, what's the shit? They were talking about they use something and they said they try to do shit. I think you might have mentioned this a ways back, where they're trying to take something and basically to use for electric shit, like the electric vehicles or some shit like that. Yeah, but that was a minute ago and shit. But basically, like they don't use shit because it fucks shit up the earth. What they do, it fucks shit up with the planet, man. They didn't use things for the good of mankind because they're the base of men, and that's why the Lord said that about them. That's what's describing them. Go ahead.
Going back to 9, it says, "You are doomed. You have made your family rich with what you took by violence."
That's right. And that's how you have the elites. What they took by violence all them centuries ago up until now. Now they're rich. Now they're on top. But now they're doomed. Idumea is doomed. Go ahead.
And have tried to make your own home safe from harm and danger, but your schemes have brought shame on your family.
Hey man, that's what you just said before about the enchantment's not working that much no more. And now everybody now you're being despised. And that's exactly what it says is going to happen to Esau in the book of Obadiah. You should be despised.
Or you got Edomites of France that fucking with the American Edomites.
Matter of fact, remember the whole thing with the travel bans? Those are a lot of Edomite countries I've seen mentioned. About, what's that, Canada, which is right above you? Who does that? No, I don't remember no name. Even though you got the Elams, but like in India and Pakistan, they be beefing, but not to the extent of what y'all doing.
Yeah, it's right here. It says travel to the U.S. from almost everywhere is falling under Trump. It says monthly year-over-year percentage change in international visitors arrivals by country is down. So they mentioned France is down, Germany, Italy, Spain, United Kingdom, Japan, South Korea, China, India, Australia, Brazil is not down yet, and Colombia. But a majority of these countries are European countries, man. So a lot of people are now, and then you have China, you know, they told, the government told its citizens, they warned it from not even coming to America. Because they see what's about to unfold here in Babylon, man.
Yeah.
And the fact is, if you got people not coming to America, that's what? That's outside money that is not coming to America.
They was actually talking about that. They was talking about how that's gonna be another shot to the economy, like the tourism and all that shit. And you have some people that actually, you know, the whole, because they fucking with people's visas, I heard.
Yep.
So like, I think it was a couple students in the Rutgers. They was like, yo, something happened with their visas. Like basically, like some shit happened with their visas, like very quickly, like on some like shit was fucked up. And it's just like that. Remember, yo, somebody said, it's like, yo, and it's supposed to be 4 years of this guy, and we're only talking about 4 months. So if this guy done all this in 4 months, what shall we tell the next 100 days? Well, his first 100 days. What's really about to start happening? Because now they still going hard with the deportation shit. The whole thing with that dude in El Salvador, the whole thing that dude in El Salvador. And that shit seemed a little fishy with the El Salvadorian president and Trump meeting. That shit seemed fishy as all hell. I was like, but you wanted to say something, Mark?
Oh yeah, no, I just wanted to say, you know, back, you know, before Esau came and conquered everything and shit. Back, you know, that's the car used to run most of the West Coast, like the southwest of it, like Arizona, New Mexico, and all that. And then that's when the war started and shit, the Alamo Dome and shit. They basically pushed them back into Mexico and shit. And you know, that's why, and then the slaves, you know, that were there, you know, when we brought here slaves, and then they would run into Mexico and shit, and then, you know, because, you know, they wanted to get, you know, escape their captive, you know, their slave master and everything. And the slave master would try to come and try to get the slave back from out of there, and they were like, hell no, you can't come up in here with guns and shit trying to get your slave back. And that's when the, you know, wars and everything started and shit. You know what I mean? So this devil, he's just wicked as all hell. Like, you know what I mean? And here it is, you got the Native Americans here first and shit, and this was their land, and then you had Issachar, and then, you know, and then here you come, just start pushing everybody, you know, killing, rape, rob, murder, everything, you know.
Hey, they called it manifest destiny, because ultimately that was, Esau knew, right? Esau knew that this was, basically, he was supposed to get that blessing. Right? Remember, Isaac gave Esau a blessing that he would have the fatness of the earth, that he was going to have, you know, the dew of heaven, which is like the riches, right? The fatness of the earth, the oil, you know, all that. So when he came to the Americas, he understood, like, yo, this is where we're going to manifest this at. So it was all by design, man. That's why the scriptures called this place, you know, a place that was never where mankind dwelt. And Esau called it what? A new world. It was the time period of the new age where Esau was going to ultimately fulfill the blessing that Isaac gave him. But it wasn't a blessing that was going to last forever. And that's the deceiving nature that Esau has. And ever since the inception of America, what has Esau been trying to do? He's been trying to solidify his dominion on the earth. With the rise of technology and knowledge increasing, he ultimately is trying to get the blessing of Jacob by left-handed means, using technology, right? Using his pseudoscience, using his witchcraft and sorcery. That's why it says, stand with thine enchantments, which you have been labored from a youth. When you look at the founding fathers of Babylon, America, they were all what? Masons, man. All of the presidents are Masons. Like Biden, after he finishes his administration, he became a 33rd degree Mason. Which you know about the 33rd degree Masonry, you know. So this devil, everything he does is set up on witchcraft, set up on the left-hand side. But that's not going to stand, man. Okay? And what is you always say, what is the judgment of a witch? you got to burn it. And America is known as the mother of harlots, man, that selleth the nations through her witchcraft. So that's why when you read the judgments that's going to happen here to America, it is what? Fire, burning, a complete destruction by fire. That's what the Lord has set this place up to be a memorial for what? Evil, for witchcraft. And that's why in the book of Revelation, it tells you that nothing is going to dwell here except desert creatures, man. It's going to be a cage for all unclean spirits, meaning these defiled, unclean animals.
And we also think about it too, that all that was leading up to that, when you go into Zechariah, the 14th chapter, I believe, I forget which verse, but it talks about the judgment of the fire. So what's coming here, what's coming here is going to be a fire that the Lord is brewing right now to completely destroy this place. Like, that's why America, that's why that's why they're so scared of what Iran is doing. But what is Iran doing in the meantime? Also, not just Iran, but what are these other nations doing? They're preparing for war against what? Esau. And now you have these Edomites, which going into prophecies also, Revelation the 17th chapter, you're going to have the other Edomite countries, his allies, the beast come against the horde. And they said they're going to rain fire on them too. That's what's playing out right now. Remember, that's what you're watching the prophecies roll out as we speak. And there's no other explanation. This is from no other book. Only the Bible explains everything that's happened from the very beginning up until now, and then the everlasting kingdom. When then you're gonna have a new heaven and a new earth. Because this right here, the present state of the heavens and the earth is fucked up. Because this devil got the ozone shit and all that. You putting satellites up there, sending dildos up there, all that shit. Send a bunch of hoes up there and what? You think about it. Like you got all these with the chick the bitch, the blonde chick, where it was like, it's people wilding and shit.
Oh,
it's one of Trump's things.
I forgot she's like a senator or congresswoman.
So you see like the disarray in America, and those is Edomites. Those are Edomites making noise and having problems. Didn't the guy get tased? You have people getting tased in Senator Hall meetings. That was never a thing. I don't remember like these elections and like everything being so tense, even amongst Edomites. But that's also scripture too, said Egyptian against Egyptian. That's coming to play right now too. But I had somebody get some, right?
I still got a little more.
Okay, bring that up. Read that.
It says, but your schemes have brought shame on your family. By destroying many nations, you have only brought ruin on yourself. Even the stones of the walls cry out against you, and the rafters echoes the cry. You are doomed. You founded a city on crime and built it up by murder.
Hey, that city is America now. What is this talking about? The city spiritually, Sodom and Egypt? Babylon, that great city? Go ahead.
It says, the nations you conquered wore themselves out in useless labor. And all they have built goes up in flames.
Dang.
The Lord Almighty has done this, but the earth will be as full of the knowledge of the Lord's glory as the seas are full of water.
And that's what the Lord is brewing right now. The Lord is putting his knowledge back on the earth, because now you have the prophets out. And the Lord said what? He said the apostles last. At the last what? At the last end of a heathen's rulership. And now we're at the last heathen's rulership over the nation of Israel before the Lord sends his son back, and the second Adam. Before the Lord comes back and takes back what's his, which is the earth. Remember, this is Yahweh. This belongs to Yahweh Shai. The Lord gave it to Esau in Job 9:24, but at the end of the day, like the brother said earlier, that wasn't for eternity. That wasn't an everlasting thing. This shit had an expiration date. And that's what y'all failed to realize. That's why the Lord said you didn't consider your latter end of it.
Hey, that's why it says that he's coming down with great wrath, because he knows he has but a short time. You know? Somebody in Trump's administration just came out and said that they found out how to manipulate time. A brother could look up that information, but they basically said that their scientists basically found a way to basically manipulate time. So he's trying to change like literally the laws of physics. You really trying to go hard with what's about to happen, but you can't stop this, man. You are confounded. It says in Job that you have a bounds that you cannot pass. So you just doing all of this sorcery, using CERN, right? You're having the Vatican trying to open up portals, right? You doing all of this BS, but it's not going to stop it's only going to lead you to your own destruction.
Still they moving.
The Ark of the Covenant.
Yeah, talking about they found the Ark of the Covenant.
Found the Lord's body.
Yeah, they found the
Oh,
Lord's
my
body
God.
underneath the Egyptian pyramid. Like, yo, you out here, you losing, bro.
Word.
You
Yo.
losing. You
Yo.
spewing oil everywhere, bro. It's over.
Yo, somebody said, yeah, you might have found Jesus body. That ain't your hour shot, though.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I guess you have to jump with the time. Time.
White House. Oh.
Oh, it's a subscription?
Yeah, what's
Yeah. I hate that shit. Yo, Issa, you gay as hell for that, yo. But maybe another
Let me see it. I'll go back. White House says it has tech that can manipulate time and space. A comment by White House science advisor Michael Kratsios has gone viral after a speech in which he claimed U.S. technology can manipulate time and space, prompting online speculation.
Yeah, so I mean, that's basically it, you know. And then these scientists are what? These are your warlocks, right? These are your witches.
Yeah.
So they're standing, they're weary in their counsels. Why are you trying to manipulate time?
Word, like, what the fuck?
Because you understand
It's time
that as
short.
time goes forward, your end is only getting closer.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to try to go back, but you can't go back. Time only goes forward, my man.
Word, you can, yo. Yo, and it's funny because like that's the whole thing. With you know, well, first off, what's up with those portals? Yeah, what's up with it? Yeah, what y'all do? You goal accomplished? What? I ain't hear shit about it since.
And you know, it's funny because right after he did those portals, he got sick, almost died.
Ah,
Yeah,
the Pope, right?
Yeah, the Pope was in the
Yeah.
hospital. They said, oh, we don't think he's gonna come out of this shit.
Oh, it was after that?
Yeah, it was after that shit.
Okay.
Because that happened during Christmas, right? Another, winter solstice, Saturnalia. He did it during that time, and then a couple weeks later, maybe a month, then he got mad sick, and he was in the hospital for mad long.
Hey man, what they say, hey, niggas, God don't like ugly, man. You trying to go against the Lord's program, which, and that's going to show that you're still just a man, because you trying to manipulate time. All right, so you trying to go back, or you trying to go forward? You can't be trying to go more forward. You got to be trying to go back. But the Lord said, "Show me the day that has passed." What did Edra tell you? He said that you're telling me things that are basically can't be done, and you trying to manipulate time. How you manipulating time? How would you go about that?
But that's him trying to.
Yo,
Who else
Lord.
thinks they're trying to be like the Most High?
Right.
Like the Most High created time,
balance
and
of
every creation is in the confines of time and space. The Lord is above all that, man. So that's why he's called the Ancient of Days. So you're trying to be like, I can be like you said as Ezekiel. You set your mind as the mind of the Most High, and that's why it says that you have striven against your Maker, man. You creating robots, trying to create something that has its own conscience. They're saying that the robots, they found out that they actually have an ability to think.
What's that?
Huh?
What's that?
The AI,
Okay.
they basically said they found out that the AI has the ability to think, and that they have their own language that they think in. So this is why this devil's talking about, we created inorganic, right? We're creating autonomous beings that be able, to do things on their own. And that's why the Lord said that if he did not shorten the days, there'll be no flesh saved, man. Because you have gotten to the point of in ancient Babel with Nimrod, where you got to the point where you set the mind of everybody on the earth that is under this juice, under this spell, like, we can go up into the heavens. Remember, that's what they said in the time of Nimrod. We can build this tower, and we're gonna be able to go up into the heavens, and there will be nothing to stop us.
Right.
Esau's doing the same thing right now.
And it's funny you said that to add on to that, when you have them devils trying to go over there, so like these scientists, they be Edomites for the most part, right? Roughly, right? So these Edomites, who's footing the bill for that? Who's setting that up? Would that be Amalek, right?
Of course.
So when you go into Jeremiah, the 31st chapter, if y'all claim to be the children of Jacob, why y'all doing something to where it said that if the Lord said it was accomplished, he would eliminate your seed? He said, if you go up to the heavens or number the heavens or go down to the depths of the sea, I believe, he said that, I will cut off Israel from being a nation, or the seed of Jacob, seed of Israel. You're claiming to be the seed of Israel. So why are you doing things that the Lord said would eliminate you if you accomplished it? Red flag on that, buddy. Why? What's up with that, man? I always wondered that. So why? That's something like people don't even think about. Like them going to this, like, yeah, that's them deal, man. That's the niggas who got too much money. No, but they're doing that they're not doing that just because they got money. They're doing it because they have a goal. They have a reason they're going up there, man. They're trying to run away from the judgment. But hold it, you can't run away from the judgment, because check this out. We're going to go to the book of James, chapter 1, verse 17, and it says, every good gift and every perfect gift is from above, and cometh down from the Father of lights, which is Yahweh, with whom is no variableness, neither shadow of turning. You ain't gonna go nowhere to where the Lord can't get you. You trying to go out the earth, you trying to inhabit other planets after you done fucked up this one planet? You think the Lord's gonna give you the leeway to go to another planet? That's not prophecy, my man. You was gonna try, but you wasn't gonna accomplish it. And now your money got you so warped that you think you could do anything. Look at niggas like Elon Musk. Nigga got Asperger's. Then nigga out here begging women so he can impregnate them and he'll pay them, and you got him turning them down. What kind of king are you? You think that's going to be happening to us in our kingdom? We're going to have fruitful and multiplying like a mug, man. We're going to be coming to drop seed or get our seed dropped in them. Can you read that real quick, Ezekiel?
Ezekiel 7, verse 19. They shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of the Lord.
Their silver and gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath. What do we approach right now? The day of the Lord's wrath. Every day, we're getting closer and closer to the day of the Lord. That's what I'm asking. So you trying to manipulate time. You trying to gain immortality with your money and your technology. But you're not going to accomplish it. You're not going to accomplish immortality. You're still just going to die like a fucking man. You're going to die, or you're going to die like a base of man. And that's it. You're not going to achieve immortality. You're not going to achieve the promise. You're not going to achieve the birthright through your money. Your money is not going to save you in the day of the Lord's wrath, man. And that's what you're trying to run away from. That's why you got these motherfuckers making all these bunkers, trying to inhabit space. Because they know the doom that's coming to them. They know the doom that's coming to America. They know the doom that's coming to their seed. And I think that's what Elon Musk said. He said, I'm trying to basically build up mankind. Look what your seed? Your seed is of an Edomite. Your seed is about to be etched out.
Oh yeah, the priest there. Talking about seed.
Read on that.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 14, verse 21. It says, prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquities of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities.
And that's what's coming right now. Yeah, you could. Oh, what's the other one that said? That's if they multiply be for the slaughter. So if they say prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, because they, remember the whole famous thing is that wasn't me, that was my ancestors. Well, one, that was you for one. Two, you're reaping the benefits of what your ancestors did in this land. How do you think you have that money that you have? How do you think you have the upper hand you have? The system was made cater for you to succeed, to excel. And you've excelled your limit. And now that's why it's over. And now that's why the excelment is not as much as it used to be. That's what it is. That's what's going on. You're losing it, buddy. You're losing it. Every day you're losing more and more. Yeah, it might not affect every Edomite yet, but soon enough it's going to affect everyone. The Lord said, all eyes shall see him. Everybody's going to understand that this is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. That name alone shall be exalted in that day. Everybody's going to know that this is the God of Jacob doing this. This is the God of Jacob that has brought us down. The God of Jacob that created everything. When they see Yahushai come in that great glory, that's the day we're talking about coming. We're talking about the day of a super being coming to the earth and wreaking havoc on the wicked of this earth for them destroying it. And that starts with you, Esau, and 2/3 of our people, and the rest of these heathens. The Lord's going to gather all the nations that fought against Jerusalem.
Got a little bit more. It says, I'm reading NLT, it says, this is what the Lord of heaven's armies says. I myself have risen against Babylon. I will destroy its children and its children's children, saith the Lord.
He said, I myself, the Lord, the God of Jacob, I myself. What other guy has talked like that before? What other guy has said that all the inhabitants of the earth shall worship them? Where are their prophecies of that? But no, because we have the one true living God. But go ahead. But actually, read that again.
It says, this is what the Lord of heaven's armies says. I, myself, have risen against Babylon. I will destroy its children and its children's children, saith the Lord.
And that Babylon is talking about America. Babylon the Great now. Because when you go into Babylon back then, the one thing I always remember, the one key thing is said that the Babylon shall not be inhabited ever again after it's destroyed. But that Babylon back then was inhabited again because it's called Iraq now. But this Babylon, we're talking about this in Isaiah 14, that's a future prophecy, man. And that's the prophecy we're living in to this day. And that's a prophecy that's getting closer and closer to coming to fruition. And then all these Edomites, all these heathens, they're going to understand that their gods were no gods. They're going to understand that the people that you've been oppressing, the people that you've profited off of, are going to be the ones that be risen over you.
It says, I will make Babylon a desolate place of owls, fill the swamps and marshes. I will sweep the land with the broom of destruction.
What's the broom of destruction, man? The people think, oh, it was a broom that's going to destroy? No. What did the Lord say he's going to use on this place? The weapons of the indignation, that fire. Yes, the nuclear program, yeah. He said what Trump said? Iran, they can't have nuclear weapons. They can't have nuclear weapons. But they already got the nuclear weapons. Well, allegedly. Or if they don't have it, they're working very closely. Because they saying that they said Iran is saying that basically we've been working heavy in overdrive.
You know what's funny? They're talking about Iran not having nuclear weapons because America's focus is on protecting the state of Israel.
Yep.
Because you got China that got nuclear weapons. You got North Korea that got nuclear weapons. You got Russia that got the most nuclear weapons. So why you don't care about them having nuclear weapons? But you care about the 48ers because ultimately, who is in control of this world? Who is in control of Babylon? Who are the lobbyists? Who are the people that are behind the scenes of Trump? His advisors? It's the small hats, man.
Right.
But the Lord is going to drive them out of that place.
Right.
And he's going to use the Persians. He's going to use the Gog, the Russians. He's going to use China, North Korea, the Hamites, the dragons of Arabia, to drive them Amalekites out of that land, man.
And that's actually what's coming to fruition as we speak. And that's why you have Russia saying that what? Iran is our ally. Whether to be a guard unto them. The thing that brother mentioned earlier about the Iranians doing the parade, I just found it like it was so keen that it said it was it was Chinese and Russian officials there. Why is that? So what? So we getting ready. And all this shit talk about this peace, but yet Iran and all these countries, y'all just getting ready for war. Because you had Trump send more shit over there, up to the Middle East and to the Pacific region. Why is that? If everything's about peace. If you was about peace, you would be the one to start the peace. You would be the one to say, you know what, I'm gonna stop sending all the military, I'm gonna stop supporting all this war shit, we're just gonna dead that shit. The other nation would dead that shit, man. But no, you don't know peace. What it said when he hated not blood. He don't know nothing but destruction. You want to say something?
I brought this out yesterday. It says over 3 days, 10 U.S. heavy transport aircrafts landed in Nevatim based. Landed at Nevatim based in the 48ers, delivering munition and heavy bombs to support Israel's preparation for a potential strike on Iran. Israeli Army radio. So right there, it shows you that America, they're talking about peace. But yet their actions are speaking louder than what their words are saying. Because also, well, we talked about it today as well, the 48ers, it says, the Israeli, let me pull it out, still eyeing limited attack on Iran's nuclear facilities. The 48ers has not ruled out an attack on Iran's nuclear facilities in the coming months, despite President Donald Trump telling Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu that the U.S. was for now unwilling to support such a move, according to an Israeli official and 2 other people familiar with the matter. Israeli officials have vowed to prevent Tehran from acquiring a nuclear weapon, and Netanyahu has insisted that any negotiation with Iran must lead to the complete dismantling of its nuclear program.
Hold up, real quick. So that can only happen if you attack them, because they clearly said that we're not going to stop what we're doing.
And they said that their nuclear program is non-negotiable.
Yup. Yup.
So you're at an impasse right now.
Right. And they said if you attack us, we're ready for it. So it's on your court.
U.S. and Iranian negotiators are set for a second round of preliminary nuclear talks in Rome on Saturday, which already happened.
Right.
Over the past months, the small hats have proposed to Trump administration a series of options to attack Iran's facilities, including some with late spring and summer timelines, the sources said. Hey, that's right around, that's now.
Yeah.
You know, hey, the scripture tells you that the least of the flock is going to draw them out.
All right. So they're going to be on something trying to not do it.
Because if Trump is saying, "Now we don't want to do it yet," but now Iranians say, "Now we about to do it," that's going to force Trump, America's. If Netanyahu says that we're going to do it anyway, that's going to force America's hand into getting involved. So that's what happens when you get drawn out, right? When somebody draws you out, you're being taken out reluctantly, and that's what's happening. If this goes the way it's being proposed, that means America will be reluctantly drawn into a conflict with Iran based off of the actions of the small hats. And that's prophecy. And that's what we've been saying, man. That's not us, that's what the Lord has been saying. Because the Lord ultimately is in control of all this. And guess what? The world is watching. The world is going to see, hey, why did the 48, the small hats do this? U.S. and Iran has been talking about their talks has been constructive. So why the hell did the state of Israel just attack them if U.S. is having constructive talks with Iran? That's going to isolate Israel, but then Israel going to tell the United States, yeah, y'all got to back us up. So then, what is that going to do? Because during this time, earlier this week, the Ayatollah of Iran wrote a letter to Russia. It's undisclosed what was said, but you can only imagine what they've been talking about since that they have been formulating a stronger bond of economic and military alliance. And that goes into prophecy of the God being a guard unto Iran. Because it's looking like Iran isn't going to be the aggressor. So if they're not the aggressor, now they are in a position to where, hey, we didn't start this, so y'all should help us out. You know, Russia, China, the other Arabian countries.
Yep. You gotta remember that the Israel, I just got something for the Times of India says Iran fumes as the 48er secret plan to bomb nuke sites. Now I don't know if that's around the same rhetoric of that article, but it goes to show that they still want to attack these niggas.
Yep.
And that means that it can't be that constructive of the talks if they're still talking about attacking. If you type of constructive talks, it'll be on something like, yo, we're like, you know, we don't want to attack them no more. Yeah, de-escalate, exactly. But it keeps escalating. So it's like, what they're telling the people dumb shit. They're like, yo, who knows that if they have these meetings, who knows they're saying that, yo, this shit don't be getting fiery every time. So that's why they gotta have the Oman motherfuckers in there. Because obviously there's no negotiation with America and Iran directly. They said they said that Iran and the small hats have not negotiated directly since Obama. That's almost 10 years. No, that is 10 years.
It says, but Israeli officials now believe that their military could instead launch a limited strike on Iran that would require less U.S. support. Such an attack would be significantly smaller than those that the Israeli initially proposed.
They're saying that like the Iran won't have the right to attack y'all back with something way worse. You can do a small attack. I mean, they got to give you a smaller attack response. Remember, the whole thing, the last year attack, they said that they told Iran, well, one of the times Iran told them 3 days ahead, and one time was a day ahead. One of the times, they said that when they attacked it, they got all of the defense shit ready. And they said that Iran's bombs still got through. So
Iran said that they did this with heavy restraint too.
Right. So heavy restraint. So this, if you attack them now in this temperature, who knows? Yo, they might go all out. And not go actually all the way up, because we still got some things that gotta take place. But in the meantime, that's gonna be the wars and rumors of wars festering.
Free. Second Esdras 15, verse 28. Behold, a horrible vision, and the appearance thereof from the east. Right? And what is that east? Is the Near East. Okay, that region of the Valley of Jehoshaphat. Right? This vision that Esdras got was about that what is formulating over there, happening right now in the so-called Middle East, which is, really West Asia. It says, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon the earth, that all that which hear them shall fear and tremble. Also the Carmanians, those are the Iranians, raging in wrath, shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood, and with great power shall they come, and join battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians. And then shall the dragons have the upper hand, remembering their nature, if they shall turn themselves, conspiring together in great power to persecute them. See, and that's what's happening right now, man. Because remember, the Ishmaelites, all right, because they're in that region along with the Elamites, but those people over there, they're known for being wild, man, right? And they're known for bombing, dropping bombs, doing crazy shit. They don't care about, how the American, politicians of shit goes. Because they're over there almost every month they having the Death to America chant. They're over there talking about we gonna wipe the 48ers off the map. So if they're right now saying, we're looking to have constructive, we're looking to talk, right? We're looking to see if we can be diplomatic. But here it is, the 48ers like, we're gonna bomb you niggas anyway. That's gonna turn these niggas into wild boars. And you see how they just came out, brother mentioned it earlier, how they showcased, they had a military showcasing of all of their might. So they're ready to get down. So the fact that you have the 48ers are really, they're trying to throw a wrench into the American plans of trying to do this so-called diplomatically, which ultimately, like I said, it's all the will of the Lord. Because the Lord is setting up Babylon the Great to be in a snare, man. As then it says in Jeremiah, the 50th chapter, brother can point it out real quick. It says the Lord set a snare and Babylon wasn't aware. All this is happening because you have these official talks of these are constructive and things are looking good and we're trying to bring peace. Like how the brother just said, you don't really know what they're really talking about behind closed doors. Why do you think if they're saying that everything is constructive, why are they bringing more military arsenals to that region? Why are they sending more aircrafts to that region? Why are they sending munition? If everything is all good, if it's constructive, then you wouldn't be sending those things over there.
They're doing it more than ever.
That's like you having two gangs talking about, we trying to come to a peace agreement, but yeah, everybody else is just loading up their weapons and shit. Somebody's lying. You found that?
I got it.
You got it? You got it.
Jeremiah 50:24. I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou wast not aware. Thou art bound and also caught because thou hast striven against the Lord.
Here you go. So the Lord said he laid a snare for you, man. You over here laying traps for the regular people, right? These people that are blind and drunk, but the Lord is laying a trap for you. Because Esau laying this economic trap to ultimately push in this new system to have everybody chipped. But yet the Lord is laying a trap for you, for your whole place to be destroyed. And you're not even aware of it. You think that you're still in charge. And your Lord got you feeling like you're still in charge. But that's even a greater snare. Because you feel like you still have the upper hand. You feel like you still are the one that is manipulating everything. But here it is. The Lord got the prophets out here telling you that you're not in charge at all. And that goes to show you just how much of pride you have, man. The pride of your heart has deceived you. I don't even know if you can even, I can't even have that much pride to think that you are in charge of something that you clearly aren't. And it's written in the scriptures that you aren't in charge, but yet you still are feeling like you're in charge. That's a crazy amount of pride, man. But that's why, as the scripture says, before pride, before a fall, pride comes before a fall. And it says, what, you were striven against who? The Lord. Going back to what we saw about Esau talking about he can manipulate time and space. How you gonna manipulate something the Lord created for you to be in? In order to manipulate something, you got to be outside of it. Right. You can't manipulate a construct that you're in.
It's over us.
But that was good.
Oh, I got this article. Unless you read something. Yeah. So the article about the parade joint. Okay. Oh. Okay, here we go. So this says I want to get to another one, but they fucking need that subscription. So this was MSN, and it says Iran exhibits military power as war threats with U.S. grow. But I thought the talks was constructive, like the brother said. If the talks are constructive, why are tensions growing? Why are threats growing? Why is they talking about, just a little slight attack? But if all the talks are leading towards a peaceful route, there should be talks of no attacks. But let's read on. It says Iran put its military might on display during a parade held yesterday, with President Mossad Pezeshkian declaring that the country's armed forces represent peace, stability, and regional cooperation. The show of force comes just as nuclear negotiations are set to resume this week. Tensions between Iran and the United States have reached new heights in recent weeks, and while the parade underscored Tehran's readiness for potential conflict, it also signaled a continued willingness to negotiate. Sounds good, right? It says, following the parade, this nigga's name, emphasized that Iran now produces the majority of its own military equipment. And he added that the country's military not only plays a role in managing domestic crisis, but also bolsters Iran's standing in the region. So who's also in that region? The small hats. And what did the small hats say? They said they want a complete denuclearization of Iran's nuclear program. So that's already a little shit that they don't like. So it says, earlier this week, Washington urged Iran to dismantle its nuclear program entirely, taking a significantly harder stance after previously allowing for civilian nuclear use. Trump has threatened to bomb if a deal between the two nations cannot be reached. So they haven't reached a deal yet. So if talks are being constructed, but they haven't reached a deal yet, so where are we at? Are we closer to the talks of a peace, or like y'all closer to attacking them? All right. Well, that was in a short article, but yeah. But they're showing their military might because of the tensions with the U.S. We're in the U.S. If they send all that shit over there to the Middle East, what do you think that's going to spark off? How do you think the other parts of the region are looking at that like, damn, they just keep sending more shit over here? Because all these countries, they got all these satellites and all that shit. They can see when stuff comes in like that. Everybody's watching each other. But everybody's just waiting to attack because the Lord just getting it, assembling them right now. But soon enough, the button's going to be pressed. Missiles going to be shot. And that's the day of the Lord. That's going to be the day of the Lord's judgment where riches cannot profit.
Jeremiah 51, verse 24. And I will render unto Babylon and to all the inhabitants of Chaldea all their evil that they have done in Zion in your sight, saith the Lord.
All their evil that they've done in Zion? Look what they did to us. Look, just take America alone. You just take America alone. If you tell somebody that from years on with the softest minds of the people now, and you told people all that in the history class Monday, this is what they did. This is what the white people did to the black people in America hundreds of years ago on this soil. Actually, details.
Hey, that's why Trump's trying to take it all out of the books. He's trying to take it out of the museums, right? He's trying to. That's not painting the proper light of American history, but that is America's history. Your history, woe into the bloody city. Your history is a perpetual hatred against the Israelites.
Right.
That's your history. But you don't want that to be brought out. But it's already been. The thing is, it's like you're trying to stop when you at court, you're trying to stop the case after all the exhibits been brought out. Well, it's already been laid out.
Right. And Esau got into where they said, it should sometimes be inadmissible. But they said, but still, the jury has already seen it.
Right.
So it's like even if it's inadmissible and it can't be used in court, they seen it already. So it's like that can still play. Huh?
Objection, like
Like that happened in Power a couple times with the whole shit with the sketch. No, not the sketch. That was some other shit. But yeah, but remember, the Lord is using everything. He said all your evils. The Lord knows all your evils. You're trying to.
No, I was gonna say something to back up what you were saying,
go ahead, bro.
because I saw it literally yesterday. I was watching Empire. It was a court case, and the evidence had already. They were showing videos of the infractions that was being done by the Lyon family. And I don't know if y'all know who Hakeem is, but he was representing himself as a so-called lawyer. He was like, objection. Like, he was desperately trying to get them to stop showing the videos proving all the bad things that was done by his family.
Right. So right now we're in a time of exposure. We're in a time of the Lord exposing these Edomites and what they've done, and they're trying to stop it. See, it's like what's that shit? It's like the covering is too. You have something you're trying to cover, but the cover is too small, and the thing you're trying to cover the cover just keeps slipping off. That's what's happening right now because you've been exposed. You've been exposed. You can't unexpose yourself. Once you see that cupcake little girl, you can't unsee it.
Hey, the Lord said that he was going to lift up their skirt.
Yeah.
And show that nations thy wickedness and thy shame.
And that's why everybody's coming at you the way they are right now. You see now all these countries are coming against America with such comfortability because they see you're weak. No?
It says, behold, I am against thee, O destroying mountain, saith the Lord, which destroyeth all the earth. And I will search, Salaki, and I will stretch out my hand upon thee, and roll thee down from the rocks, and will make thee a burnt mountain. See? So the Lord said that he was going to do what? Make you a burnt mountain. The water. Yeah. The water. If you find one, sorry. Yeah, he said he's gonna make you a burnt mountain, man. What is a burnt if this place or the government represents mountains, right? If the Lord is telling you that he's gonna make Babylon a burnt mountain, how is he gonna do that? Just like how he said that Sodom and Egypt was for an example to them that lived ungodly before, and how he brought fire and brimstone down upon Sodom and Egypt and the rest of those cities. That's the same thing. He's going to bring fire down from heavens through the nuclear missiles. It's going to be your own creation. I've created the smith that blow up the coal and the fire. I created the waster to destroy. It's going to be by your own sword that you're going to be destroyed by, man.
Stab yourself.
Yep. It says, and they shall not take of thee a stone for a corner. I'm going to read this in NLT. It says, you will be desolate forever. Even your stones will never again be used for building. You will be completely wiped out, saith the Lord.
And that mountain government, like the brother talked about, that's this shit right here. America, along with Esau's whole kingdom, his whole rulership, but definitely here in America, because this is like what the brother said. They said Esau used America to basically like get his shit off. He used America to, put all his enchantments and all that. And now since that shit is over, now look what's happening now. He's about to bring this whole shit down and then have their new world order. That's the play. That's it. That's where we're at right now. Bring this shit down. You don't need America like you did before. America has lived its usefulness. That's why it's being hated and despised. That's why people are leaving. And other countries are telling the people not to come here. It's no longer that sweet. It's no longer that it's no longer that place of like, yo, man, with prosperity.
Isaiah 47 verse 1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate.
No more shall be called tender and delicate. You have no throne. When you sit in the dust, remember, you have to sit in the corner. When you're in timeout, go sit in the corner. Yeah, go sit your bitch ass in the corner, huh? It's no longer tender and delicate, man. Now everybody sees you for the whore you are. That's the whole point. It's what was it? It's in Revelations as well, where it says, was that well-favored harlot in there?
I said well-favored harlot. That's a Habakkuk.
Habakkuk?
Oh, no, Nahum, the third chapter.
Nahum. So, but basically that
Revelation, she calls it a whore, mother harlots.
Yeah, mother harlots. Same thing, same spot, same people, same kingdom, same government, man, same mountain. And this mountain, that's why the Lord said this mountain about to be burnt up with your own devices. The Lord had you create your own destruction. And tell me that's not something that That's only a higher power to do that. Make you create something that's going to destroy yourself. Because you don't want to destroy yourself. You keep talking about, we don't want, they can't have nuclear weapons. But everybody has nuclear weapons. But you don't want these motherfuckers to have nuclear weapons because why? They're so close to your fucking master.
It's so interesting because it's the mother of harlots. So when you think about a mother, and harlots, if you're the mother, that means you're the producer of harlots. America, when people put on, whether inside of America, we actually talk about inside of America. When these countries, these other nations of people come to America and they adopt the American culture, what are they adopting? Greed, right? Insatiable appetite for things. Okay, complete fun, like adultery, fornication, right? No love for your actual neighbor, and selfishness, and just a complete debauchery mind state. Just all carelessness. That is the American culture, man. And that's why when you had the Chinese, when they made those AI mocking Americans in work factories, what they had is fat, sloppy, right? It just you just sweat, you just got the fucking burger meat just coming out of your neck. That's what people think of when they look at Americans, man. You don't have any type of morality to you. You don't have any type of, you know what, that's a good American person. There's nothing right, even if you take righteousness, but just as a person, the American person is not you're not a upstanding person for civilization. Foundation. Yeah, you're not looked at as like, I want to be an American. You know why people want to become an American? To fulfill the lust of the flesh, man. To fulfill the wickedness of their flesh. That's what coming to America is. Your liberty is to be liberal, to do wickedness.
Yeah, but you have these countries, other nations that come over here so they can be wicked. Like, perfect example, I don't know if y'all remember she's trying to get away from that shit, but Mia Khalifa. She was a corn star. She came out here, and I believe it was her or someone else, but I think it was her, where she said if she went back to her country, they would kill her.
Yep.
So these other nations, they come over, just like women driving. We talk about the Elamites, these other countries can't drive, but they come over so they can drive a car. Just simple like that.
And you know what that does? Because you look at, that's oppressive. You're not allowing women to drive. The scripture tells you give no women liberty to get abroad.
Right. So
that even though there's an Elamite or Ishmaelite, those are foundational concepts for women, for a reason, man. It's not like you're just oppressive. Really, a woman needs to be oppressed. And not in a wicked sense, but like in the childish sense. And like in the child, you can't do this. Because if you leave her to her own devices, what's going to happen? Cardi B's, Nicki Minaj's, Beyonce's. You're going to have Israelite women. That's why you look at Israelite women now as nothing but being a nation of whores, man. That's not something that was ingrained in Israelites from the beginning. That was her putting on taking on the eating of the serpent's food, man. The serpent's ideologies, the serpent's ways. The American Israelite black woman and Latino women are the way they are is because they've been underneath Esau the longest out of all these other nations. But you got these other nations that are now here, and now you're getting you're seeing the Chinese Moabite twerkers, man, showing their ass. Yep. You got Ishmaelite women in the hijab, in a hijab twerking. They're not doing that over there in India. They're doing that in America, man. Because they know that, I can get this off here in America. If I do this over there in Elam land, they're gonna chop heads off over there.
That wasn't a thing with them nations like 10, 20 years ago. That shit started like this last few years. It's just gonna get waxing worse and worse.
They have a documentary on stuff on Marbury, and they were talking about how he was playing in the NBA and everything, and then after he stopped playing for the Knicks, he got he got depressed. His father passed away. There's a lot of shit going on with him, and he was like eating fucking fucking Vaseline and shit.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, he was bugging out, and he contemplating killing himself. And then that's when I guess somebody talked to him, whatever. And then that's when he went over to China, and then he was playing over there, whatever. He became a coach, and they built a statue for him. And then now he dating a Moab chick, a singer that lives over there. So he's like in better spirits now because I guess being under this matriarchal society here in Babylon, this shit was fucking him up. It was, he was going crazy. He was just, depressed, everything. So when he went over to another country and deal with different, cultural women, whatever, he's in better spirits now. You know what I mean? That's how this place is just the poison and shit, just the philosophies and everything that they pushed upon our people. We are completely destroyed. We need Yahweh Shai now. Just get the fuck up out of here. This place is just. Hey, a man can't get married here. There's no. If you get married here, you done fucked yourself. Because a marriage ain't nothing but a goddamn business agreement. And then when shit don't work out, oh, his nigga cheated, he did this. I want to file. What do you call that shit?
A file for divorce.
Differences. It's called something.
Irreconcilable
differences. And then it don't have to be for a reason. It's just like I don't want to be with this nigga no more. I want to be out here sleeping with different men or whatever. You know what I mean? And then you got to pay this bitch half. You got to lose everything to her. Child support, all this shit. Like, come on.
Yep. And that only does just empower the woman to become more independent, which, once again, a woman was not created to be independent, man. All right? And scripture says that her desire should be toward her husband. But see, when you're in Babylon, you do what be as the Babylonians. When in Rome, be as the Romans, man. And then what is the product of that? This is what you get right here. Just complete destruction of the human experience. That is what America is. It's the destruction of the human experience. Why do you think suicide is at its all-time high in America? You got people that's living in Yemen, in Gaza, right, in third world countries. They're not killing themselves. But here in America, it's supposed to be the land of milk and honey, as they try to say it. But you got people offering themselves there. They're on antidepressants, right? Suicide, murder rates is at an all-time high. It's because you have destroyed the human experience. Underneath, Esau is the destroyer, man. He destroys what it is to be alive. That's why in Revelation 11 and 18, it says, destroy him which destroyeth the earth. And our word destroy means to what? To morally corrupt, ethically, and mentally, man. The ethics of life is destroyed here, man. That is why she is known as the mother of harlots, that made all the earth drunk. Therefore the nations are mad. Meaning what? They're going in, they have lost their ancient ways. They lost their way. That's why the Lord told us to seek ye the old paths. Why do you think the Lord raised up the prophets in these last days? The prophets are not speaking of a new way, as in something that has never been before. We're speaking of a kainos. We're speaking of the refreshed way of being. In Revelation, Deuteronomy 32 and 7, somebody can get that. It says what? Ask your fathers and they shall tell you. We're supposed to go back. The prophets are coming back as the forefathers of our society, of our nation, to tell our people to come back, to repent, to turn again from the ways that you have left. They saying, oh, this is progressive. I was watching, I think I sent it to you. You had Tracy Ellis Ross. She was talking with Obama, with Michelle Obama and her brother. And they was talking about how she was saying, well, why she's single, and the fact that she knows herself, she's an empowered woman, and the men that she's meeting, and that's her age, they have this archaic mindset of a way that men and women are supposed to be. And she's like, are you gender fluid? Like that's what she wants now. She wants somebody with a mindset that's gender fluid, that accepts, the alphabet community. And the men that are her age, because she's up in age, they're still, back in the mindset of a man is a man and a woman is a woman, that's the correct mindset. There is no other way, man. But yeah, our people are so just confused. They're so drunk that they're thinking that they're progressing by being in this gender fluid alphabet mindset that anybody can just do whatever they want. And that is what? The poison of the serpent, man. You got it.
Deuteronomy 32, verse 7. Remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he will show thee. Thy elders, and they will tell thee.
There you go. That's what you're supposed to do. And that's why you get Malachi 4 in the last verse. That's why the Lord said that he was going to send the fathers, Elijah starting first, to do what? To turn back the elect of Israel, because not all of Israel going to get it, man. The fact of the matter is our people love this. They love to have it so. They love the rebellion. They love the wickedness. They love the idolatry. They love the adultery. They love the giving themselves into the flesh. It was back then, during the time of coming out of ancient Egypt. And that's why the Lord said that whole generation, besides Caleb and Joshua, they were all going to get wiped out in the wilderness. Well, the Lord going to turn Babylon the Great into that wilderness, man. Majority of our people are not coming out of this place, man. You got it?
Malachi 4, verse 6. And he shall turn the heart of the fathers of the children.
Salaki, start at 5. Get the answer.
Malachi 4, verse 5. Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord.
Yep, and now that's talking about, hey, really this time. But you had Elijah came before, during the time of Yahushua, which, as even Yahushua said, if you can receive it, this was John the Baptist. So that right there shows you that reincarnation is in the Bible. Right? As you read in Isaiah 14 and 21, prepare slaughter for his children. That's talking about reincarnation. So the Lord said, I'm going to send you Elijah the prophet before the great and terrible day of the Lord. Because when Yahushua came, that wasn't a great and terrible day. The world didn't mourn because of Yahushua's birth, man. You had the three wise men of the east. They came and gave gifts, right? The angel showed the shepherds of Yahushua, and they said that joy into world peace upon the earth. Because through Yahushua, peace is going to come upon the earth. But guess what? When he returns, it's not going to be a peaceful day. That day, they said before the great and terrible day, that day of Yahushua's return is going to be horrific, man. The day of the Lord is dark and not light. So the Lord said, I'm going to send you Elijah before that day. And if you can receive it, that was Elder Abba Bivens that set up the foundation of this ministry of the gospel of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua that has now been disseminated throughout the four corners of the earth. Through this one, what they want to call the One West, but through this one man that the Lord sent, man. How did one man, if it wasn't divinely inspired by the Lord, how did one man's doctrine, which is ultimately Yahushua through the Holy Spirit, how did that go throughout the four corners of the earth? Riddle me that. If it wasn't by the Spirit of the Lord, man. If it wasn't fulfillment of this prophecy right now. To the point where you got guys like Vocab, you got different pastors, Christianity. Everybody's now trying to come up against this doctrine. The One West doctrine. One West, as we always say, right?
Come against Yahushua.
You trying to come against Yahushua. Where Yahushua sent his man, that spirit, to bring forth this doctrine, man. And it through generations, it stayed true. And it actually grew. The understanding, all right, and that followed through who? The apostles and elders of Great Millstone. So continue.
And he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to their fathers. Lest I come and smite the earth with a curse.
There you go. So through this ministry, the heart of the fathers were turned to the children. So who are the fathers? When you go into the ancient times, even when Moses set up, when Jethro told Moses, like, this is too much work for you, you need help. He said, what? Get to the chief men, to the elders. Because it's supposed to be your elders that are supposed to know the way to lead the nation. So who are the elders? And this time it's the prophets. That's who are going to be the first. That's why it's called the first fruits. And it's not something that's looked at on a carnal level. It's not something about, oh, you're not old enough. Now, of course, we got our apostles and elders that there are old, elderly men. But the Lord is looking at the spirits. Those first spirits that were created are the elders of the nations. Yep, and there's a bunch of brothers, different age ranges. And the Lord, in the scripture says that this was a prophecy. He was going to turn the hearts of the fathers to the children. So instead of the men of the Lord thinking about their own lives and doing what they want to do, being successful in whatever profession that they want to be, Now their mindset now is we got to teach our children, and it's only going to be the children that take heed, because we out here telling all of our people, but it's only the good children, right? It's only the ones that are meet for repentance, and our hearts are turning to them. That's why we have dedicated our lives to doing what? To preaching His word. And the children that are of the elect, they're going to be turned to their fathers. They're not going to stay upon him that smote them. They're not going to be listening to Esau and what they say. They're not going to be saying, oh, no, we want to go and serve other gods. Not here. Let's listen to our forefathers. Let's listen to what the way that they're telling us to move. Because they're going to want what? Life. And life only comes by way of taking heed unto the word of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And that is what Esau wanted to try to stop. But you couldn't stop that, man. Because all the scriptures is, all what we're doing now is a what? It's a family heirloom. It's a legacy. Started with Yahushai, Yahweh and Yahushai, the first begotten, the only begotten of the Heavenly Father, and then threw down the sons of God, man. Us being taken from our heritage because of our, the Lord said that, right? Through Jeremiah, that you should be discontinued from your heritage. Brother, you give me Baruch too. But it was a time period where the Lord was going to have mercy on Jacob, and yet still choose Israel. And also give me Micah, I think the 7th chapter.
I don't see the point.
Yeah, you got it, bro.
Because it's funny because it's the root too, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, like with the elders that came about, look what the time the Lord did it. Now the elders, apostle elders of GMS, were brothers that was born in the 60s, right? The truth came out in the late 60s, so even those brothers was young men at the time. And then you had Bivens and Marshall and all that, right? And then you had our elders. So after that was a short amount of time. The Lord had it to where the truth came out, the prophets, those spirits are getting reawoken, and now look, America is completely gone to shit. And you have people saying that our country is gone to shit. And what would be the main reason? Because the prophets came out. The Lord said He set up prophets to preach against great kingdoms. And this is a great kingdom. This is the last great kingdom over the Israelites. But
Yep. And that was a short time, man. When you really think about it, it wasn't like it was 100, 200, 300 years. Now, for the majority of our time in Babylon the Great, we were in that destitute, that dead state, man. Right? Those are 3.5 days being in captivity, where Esau rejoiced over us, rejoiced over the position that we were in. Esau got it to the point where, look, like, they're in these churches. But remember, the way that the churches was set up, you had Jake preaching, but you had an Edomite in the back watching the sermon, watching how, what was being told. You had the slave Bible. So that was a whole process of indoctrination of spirituality, man. They was literally indoctrinating Jake, because they know Jake was the only people that were connected spiritually to the higher power, man, to the only living God. So there was an indoctrination on how to be spiritual. And until this day, you have seen it, but what is also happening right now? A lot of Israelites are leaving the church. And it's funny, because now there's a lot of push for Edomites going into the church. So you got Israel leaving the church, and Edomites are going into the church.
The curse is falling upon you, huh? So you want to straight to the remember themselves, or where you want to start?
Oh, you can remember themselves, yeah.
All right, so this is Baruch chapter 2, verse 30. And it says, "For I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people, but in the land of their captivity, they shall remember themselves." So
the majority of our people are stiff-necked people. Like a child, right, that won't listen. So you have the child that won't listen, and there's a law that if you don't listen to the elders, what happens? You got to kill them. You got to stone them. So that's what the Lord going to do to the majority of our people. They're not listening to their forefathers. Ultimately, which their forefathers is coming with the message from these fathers. But the Lord said for the other children, the other ones that will take heed, the Lord said what? That they're going to, in the land of their captivity, they're going to remember themselves. When did the small hats fulfill this prophecy? That is why you don't have the Christian church reading the Apocrypha. But guess what? The Catholicism, the Catholic Church got it. And the Catholic Church is older than the so-called Christian Baptist and Methodist Church. But there's a lot of things that's in this Apocrypha that can completely cut Esau, man. Links him to Esau, and it cuts the small hats. And it directly shows you who the northern tribes are.
Word. They were saying that the Jays are white people, so what about the other white people? Because you take a small hat, you take the catering outfit off of the small hat, they look like a regular white person.
And they was actually telling the small hats was telling people during the whole rise of anti-S, you know, hey, don't wear your zeets. You know, take your small hat off so you can blend in. Vagabond. you trying to hide yourself amongst the people, man. But you've already been exposed. Go ahead.
Verse 31, it says, Baruch chapter 2, verse 31, it says, and shall know that I am the Lord, their God, Jehovah Ba'ashem Yahushai, for I will give them a heart and ears to listen.
Yep, a heart and ears to listen. Going back to what was read in Malachi. He was going to turn the hearts of the children to the fathers and the hearts of the fathers to the children. That mind, right? That's why the Lord said, he who have ears to hear, let him hear. Because this was ultimately a gift, a blessing, a mercy, a grace from the Lord for us to get this. Because we grew up in the same environment as everybody else that don't hear it. It's not like we grew up somewhere isolated where we were just getting this knowledge somewhere and then we popped up on the streets of America. Now we grew up went to the same churches, drinking of the same doctrines, the same wine, that everybody drunk with the same stuff.
Sobered up.
But the Lord have mercy, he sobered us up, man. He separated us, just like how he told Jeremiah that I have from thy womb I knew you. Hey, just like with Paul. The Lord said, he said what, at the appointed time, he basically woke him up, man. And we all had our appointed time. We all have our story on how we got to this point of having his heart turned to the Father, man. Turn to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. And that's what's scary to this devil, because at this point now, we done drunk of everything. You can't get us drunk no more. There is no other philosophy that you can get us drunk with. And we're not even drinking of that cup. So now we're here. We're here until we die. And the Lord said, nah, there's some of you that ain't gonna taste that. There's some flesh that's gonna be saved when Yahweh shall come back.
And if I make it in verse 31, it says, I will give them a heart. So now that the word is already gone out, you already have the people with that heart and their ears have heard. So even if like you have brothers that like fall out of the truth, but they couldn't enlighten somebody that's still in the truth.
Maybe that was probably their whole purpose.
Exactly.
Why they was in the truth is just to enlighten somebody that was not in the truth. Matter of fact, I'm an example of that. Now the person that I learned it from, he claims he's still in the truth, but you ain't doing the works. That's me. So hey, that's between you and the Lord at this point. But you got a lot of men, a lot of sheep that learn from brothers that were teachers that are no longer out here feeding the sheep. And that actually falls upon you pursuant to Ezekiel the 3rd chapter. Because the Lord said, give them a warning from me. And you got to wash that blood off continually, man. Because if you stop pushing the word, now that blood is going to fall upon your head.
So you know, and this is Baruch chapter 2, verse 32 now, it says, and they shall praise me in the land of their captivity and think upon my name.
That's something that Esau didn't want it, man. That's why he gave you Jesus. That's why he gave you all these fake, these false names and false gods, which is really another way of idolatry and paganism. But the time came through Elijah the prophet where we were going to start thinking upon the name of the Lord, because that's where the power is, through the name of Yahweh, through his son Yahushua. That is why those names, and you're affiliated with those names in Esau's world and Esau's government, you are deemed what? The domestic team. You are deemed a threat, because the name of the Lord is dreadful amongst the heathen. Whenever we cried unto our power when we had enemies, what did our power stood up on our behalf? The Lord, David said, through thy name I destroyed nations. Though I was compassed about with armies, through thy name I destroyed them. So that's what that's the whole power, that's the power source. We're not up here with weapons and spears and swords. Hey, I think might have been Judas Maccabees. When you read it, when they were about to go to war, I forgot against who, but Israel, they were basically fearful. And then Judas Maccabees stood up and he said what? He said, I'm not going to comfort you with the weapons that we have, with the swords and the spears. I'm going to comfort you through what? The words, man. And he started to go back in history and tell them, remember when our Lord did this? Remember when we cried in Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, he did this for us? And they were like, yeah, I do remember. And that's what we're doing right now. We not up here like, yeah, we got this and we got nah. Yeah, yo, we got the MK, nah. Yeah, remember when the Lord did this? Hey, remember how he delivered us out of Egypt? Remember the time of Jericho? That's why Peter said, but through the pure remembrance, how I go? I stir up your mind, stir up your pure mind by way of remembrance. Stir up your pure mind by way of remembrance. That is what's happening, man. You get Jude where he says, though you once knew this, I think it might be the 6th verse or the 7th verse.
You want to finish reading this?
Yeah.
I'm gonna read. It's only 3 verses left. So this is Baruch chapter 2, verse 33. Now it says, and so I'm gonna read verse 32. It says, and they shall praise me in the land of their captivity, and think upon my name, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Verse 33, and return from their stiff neck and from their wicked deeds, for they shall remember the way of their fathers which sinned before the Lord.
Now, what are the wicked deeds? Everything that Esau promotes here, man. The black culture is wicked deeds, man. There's nothing to be proud of in being a black American, man. Being a Latino American. There's nothing to be proud of about that. The only thing to be proud of is being a Hebrew Israelite, man. Being a daughter of Zion. Being a prince of the power. And when you are that, you what? You abstain from the wicked deeds. That's why when the Lord seen Nathan and Daniel, he said what? An Israelite indeed, in whom there is no guile. Go ahead.
Yep. Verse 32 now, and 34, excuse me. And it says, Baruch chapter 2, verse 34. And I will bring them again into the land which I promised with an oath unto their fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Yep, that's the patriarchs. And that is what? A lineage, man. And the Lord said he promised it. And he is not a man that cannot lie, nor will he repent. So that's why I say, for the Father's sake, why you think it behooved Yahweh Shai to be made like unto his brethren from the seed of Abraham? Because that was the promise. Go ahead.
And they shall be lords of it, and I will increase them, and they shall not be diminished.
Now think about that, man. Here it is. You got the Israelites. This world knows them as Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Oh, they're just an afterthought. They're just the consumers of the world. You know, they're the lowest of the humans. We're in Esau's kingdom, but yet the Lord, and you got all this commotion about the so-called Middle East, that region and the land of Israel, but the Lord is about to take these people and bring them into that land, and they're going to be lords over it. Don't nobody think about the Israelites being the people that's going to be in that land ruling over it. You tell them more about that. You tell Xi Jinping that he going to laugh. They're like, you know what? You going to tell I told them we write a letter. You know, we're going to actually rule the land of Israel. They going to laugh at you.
Blacks in America.
Like, what the fuck y'all talking about? But that's going to be the power of the Lord. That's how the Lord said that I'm going to sanctify you in the sight of the heathen.
All right. I have to do small ads.
He said what? That they shall see the strangers of thy salvation. How are they numbered amongst the children of God? Go ahead.
This is the last verse of Baruch chapter 2. It says, Baruch 2 and 35. And I will make an everlasting covenant with them to be their God. And they shall be my people, and I will no more drive my people of Israel out of the land that I have given them.
So if the Lord say he's going to make an everlasting covenant to be our God, what does that mean? That means that the one and only true living God is always going to be with us. And that doesn't spell anything except subjection for everybody else. Because when the Lord was with David, what did he do? He subdued the nations. There was no other nations that was able to rise up against David, which is why Solomon had 40 years of peace. And on top of that, that was during a time when we were still mortals. Yahweh Shai said he got better promises than Abel. Greater than Solomon is here. So that's going to be a kingdom without end with an eternal, immortal body ruling. And that's why he said, you will no more be driven out of the land. Who will drive us out?
immortal.
You can't drive out an immortal. You can't put fear into an immortal. You can't subdue an immortal. And that's the blessing, that's the promise of the Heavenly Father. That is how the world is going to know that He is, by way of what He did unto those people. He brought them from the lowest of the lows and put them on top. You got that in Micah? Oh, you get Jude and you get Micah. You close out with Micah. I think 7:18.
Jude 1 and 4. Jude 1 and 4. For there are certain men crept in unawares, who were before of old ordained to this condemnation, ungodly men turning the grace of our God into lasciviousness.
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 You can get the definition of that, because you got that right now. That's nothing new, man. You've always had Israelites that did not take, that did not appreciate the grace of the Lord, man, and they use the gospel, which you see happening right now, for their own gain, for filthy lucre's sake, for vainglory, right? They weren't the ones who the Lord said He was going to set up to turn the hearts of the children, of fathers to the children. They're the ones that are trying to feed their own belly. They're the ones that, as in Jeremiah 23rd chapter, it says, "Woe unto the pastors who scatter the sheep of my flock," right? That eat the fat of the sheep, man. That make merchandise of the flock. Hey, the Lord has a heavy judgment for that, man. Yep. You are taking the sheep of the Lord and acting as a shepherd, but yet you're not taking care of the sheep. You over here scattering the flock. You over here shaving their wool for your own purpose to make yourself more glorified. But they were ordained. The scripture says they were ordained to that. So at the end of the day, hey, they were set up for that purpose. But the Lord also said, well, we're supposed to mark them. You got the definition?
Heck, I mean, filled with or showing sexual desire, lewd, lustful.
There you go. So, Daddy, you great, man. The writing is on the wall, man. But that's the perverseness of Jake. Even ones that claim to be men of the Lord, they got the perverse mindset, man. The lustful desires, and it's as it says in Romans, that what is vile affections. You got a vile affection. That's a demon. That's a demon on you from the pits of Rome. But hey, that's they even tell you that in the time of Kings, you had Israelites that were sodomites, man, that was in the land, and you had certain kings. He rooted them out, man. Like, yo, get rid of these niggas, man. They perverse. And you see Jake now, man. That's the mind. That's the position that Israel is in. All of the download, the weirdo, the weirdism. This is a bunch of, hey, man. You gotta go. You gotta go, man. There's more in that in Jude. You got them? Yeah, let's finish in Jude.
Start at the top. For there are certain men crept in unawares who were before of old ordained to this condemnation, ungodly men turning the grace of our God into lasciviousness and denying the only Lord God and our Lord Yahushua.
Yep, denying the Lord, saying the Lord don't gotta be worshipped. Right? Hey, he called the Lord a nigga, man. Right? The name isn't important. I scorn the name of Yahweh, Yahushua. So you're denying your only way to salvation. That's why it says he's going to bring upon you swift destruction. Go ahead.
Verse 5, I will therefore put you in remembrance, though ye once knew this, how the Lord, having saved the people out of the land of Egypt, afterward destroyed them that believed not.
There you go. I'm going to put you in remembrance, though you once knew this, how the Lord, he saved the people out of Egypt. What people did he save? This is New Testament. Right? This story follows us. You don't get the perspective, brothers mentioned it last night. You don't get the perspective of the Egyptians during the time of the Lord's plaguing the Egyptians. You know how you watch a movie and you get the perspective of the main character? You don't get the perspective of the nigga like in what movie was that? Bad Boys, second one, where they had the highway scene where the cars were flipping over. The niggas that was in that car getting flipped over, you don't get their story. All you see is like, damn, that nigga just died. That's what happened. And when you read the scriptures, when you read of Egypt, you don't get the perspective of all the people that was in the houses that their families, their cry was great. All you know is that, yeah, somebody died in that house. That's it. You're only getting the perspective of Israel.
The fatality can't talk about the fatalities.
Yeah, we brothers mentioned, you don't watch the movie to see the third henchman get killed. All the people that John Wick was slicing up and killing, them niggas just there to just get that. They were pointing us to that. Your role is for you to get hit with 5 different ways to get sliced up, and then you get shot in your head, and that's it.
302. The guy that told that story was telling was the guy that made it.
Say it again?
300.
Oh,
the guy
yeah,
that told
yeah,
the
yeah.
the guy that made it.
Right.
Is that what one? Yeah.
But the story follows the Israelites, man. And this story follows the elect of the Israelites. Because we're the only ones that's going to be able to tell the story, Lord willing, the guy that made it. The men that make it are the ones that's going to be able to tell the story once we get into the kingdom. Yep.
His story.
Yep. Hey, the Lord said that, hey, those are the ones that got the victory over the beast and over the image and over his mark. You get that, Malachi? Micah?
Micah 7 verse 18. Who is a God like unto thee, that pardoneth iniquity and passeth by the transgression of the remnant of his heritage?
Now think about that. Out of all the wickedness our people have done, the wickedness that we have done, the Lord pardoned that, man. He still had mercy on us to receive this truth, and a way back. Because not like it's just that we received the knowledge. The Lord said, I'm going to give you a way back to even be reconciled. And that was through his only son. He gave his son for us to have this potential, this grace to come back to a place where we are now looked at as the sons of God again, man. But we are not subject to death anymore. We're not going to be subject to being captives, being on the bottom. Who is like a God that can pardon our iniquity? You look at the nation of Israel, I always say, like, yo, you look at Israel, it's really hard to fathom that these people were in the time of Solomon. That these are the people that knew, as it says in Romans, the 9th chapter, the service of God, right? That had the laws. Our people are so revolted and gone, they're looked at, as it says in Hosea, as a no people. Y'all ain't nobody. Y'all got no history. Y'all got no legacy. Y'all just blacks. But that was the punishment of the Lord. But the Lord said, hey, I'm going to have mercy on you. And while you're in that low, destitute state, I'm going to bring you out of it, man. I'm going to have you remember yourselves. And it's going to take faith in him, in Yahushua, to continue in that walk. And it's going to be in the hardest time period, because now this devil, as it says in Revelation, he's going to come make war against the remnant of her seed that has the faith of Yahushua and keep the commandments.
Saints.
The saints, yep, make war with the saints. Because what Esau wants us to be is the product of the majority of Israelites that you see now. Just gone, no clue on who you are. That's what Esau wants. But the fact that you know that you are who you are now, that's a problem for him. So this is the condition of the battle. This is the straight gate. Go ahead.
He retaineth not his anger forever, because he delighteth in mercy.
Yep. Hey, and we're products of the Lord not retaining his anger forever, man. Because when the Lord was angry, what did he do? He turned his back on us. He put us in a position where we had no clue who we were. But he didn't retain that forever, because now we are what? Remembering ourselves. Go ahead.
He will turn again. He will have compassion upon us. He will subdue our iniquities, and thou wilt cast all their sins into the depths of the sea. Yep,
and that was by way of Yahushua. All right, because the scripture says, blessed is he whose sins are forgiven and whose transgressions are not found, roughly paraphrasing, in whose spirit there is no guile. the only way you can do that is by way of a perfect sacrifice. And that is Yahawashi. There's a little more?
Yeah, well, another verse.
Yeah.
Thou wilt perform the truth to Jacob and the mercy to Abraham, which thou hast sworn unto our fathers from the days of old.
There you go. And that's where you read in Luke, where it says that he has raised up a horn of salvation in Israel through David to perform the mercies that was promised to our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So that is why Yahawashi is known as what? The author and finisher of our faith. And it's through Yahawashi, Yahweh performed these mercies unto us. That is why this ministry, he is the chief cornerstone. You can't have what we do without Yahawashi. You can't build this spiritual church, the spiritual temple, without the chief cornerstone, which is Yahawashi, man. And that is who we are looking for to come and to redeem us. And these devils, they know that. That's why Yahawashi said that you're going to be hated for all men for my name's sake. But he that endureth unto the end, he that keep his commandments, shall be saved. The deliverer is going to come to deliver us. The Lion of the tribe of Judah, man. Right, the star out of Jacob. You know, so with that, we will close it out. Giving all praise, honor, and glory to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahawashi, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash.
Until next time, shalom to the elect. House of David.
Shalom. Shalom.